This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Fly! Son Goku,
Superman.
it's time to answer the ultimate question, and we're taking it all into play.
We're examining Superman's extensive mainline comic book canon. Given Dragon Ball Super's contentious continuities, we'll include all three, just to be thorough, plus Dragon Ball Heroes.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Far away, in an enchanted land, an old master found a boy and marveled at his uncommon strength. This is the story of Son Goku.
Chances are, if you've watched some localized anime, you can thank this guy.
Inspired by martial arts films and his wife's interest in Chinese culture, Akira Toriyama crafted the story and the character that would define generations to come.
Dragon Ball! Kakarot was born a low-class Saiyan on the planet Vegeta, narrowly escaped its destruction by Frieza, and was raised on Earth by happy old Grandpa Gohan.
Gohan began Goku's teachings in martial arts, which he would find to be his true calling under the guidance of Master Roshi. Specifically, he learned the Kame-sen and Ryu style, which focuses on discipline
Son Goku.
Superman.
It's time to answer the ultimate question, and we're taking it all into play.
We're examining generations to come.
Dragon Ball! Kakarot was born a low-class Saiyan on the planet Vegeta, narrowly escaped its destruction by Frieza, and was raised on Earth by happy old Grandpa Gohan.
Not just raised, but trained. Gohan began Goku's teachings in martial arts, which he would find to be his true calling under the guidance of Master Roshi. Specifically, he learned the Kame-sen Ryu style, which focuses on discipline and tenacity, both of which strongly define Goku's character.
The more he learned, the more he wanted to improve. This little low-class monkey boy would prove that hard work and dedication can beat raw talent. Within just a few years, he was so strong, the only worthy teachers left were gods. And a talking cat, but mostly gods. When you're training to dodge lightning, you know you're a few leagues over everyone else.
He did have a slight advantage. Saiyans are naturally superhuman. They also take Nietzsche's famous words, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," very, very literally.
It's almost unfair how much of a boost in power they get after they're hurt.
While Saiyans like Vegeta may have abused this trait, it suits Goku. No matter how many times you knock him down, he will get back up, stronger than before.
It helps that he knows so many cool combat moves, like the Kamehameha!
An incredibly powerful technique that focuses one's ki into a single point for a devastating beam.
So challenging, it took Roshi decades to master, but Goku got it in like 5 seconds.
It's incredibly versatile, with over 50 different variations. For example, Goku can curve the beam after firing, or even shoot it from his feet.
But unlike most Saiyans, he doesn't just use ki to blow shit up. Moves like the Solar Flare, Energy Landmine, and God Bind require a lot more strategy and planning.
Because while Goku isn't exactly book smart, he is a genius when it comes to martial arts. He doesn't just train to conquer his opponents, but to conquer himself.
He's also got some different moves, like trapping you in.
And stands still. Yes, according to the Daisenshuu guidebook, it's a dimension hop. You can actually see the ride, avenging his people by defeating Frieza and declaring himself the Super Saiyan.
Hell yeah! If there's any scene that deserves the word epic, it's when he went gold. Super Saiyan and its sequels all have official power multipliers, but they threw us for a loop by turning Goku into a god.
Super Saiyan God certainly changed things up. Goku gained Divine Ki, a pure form of ki unspoiled by mortal hands. Unlike normal ki, it can't be detected and appears to have healing properties.
Kinda like Senzu beans. Did you know one Senzu has so much healing juice it can regenerate a person's lost limbs? They're missing out.
God Goku reached a level of power that could compete with the greatest of deities, nearly shattering the whole universe with a single clash on his first go. Dragon Ball's cosmology is unique. This model is said to be an accurate depiction of Universe 7, but there's a wrinkle there. When all of humanity went to heaven,
Because Boo went berserk,
Videl commented that heaven is just as large as a universe, and the Daizenshuu backs her up.
and that's heaven, big planet.
So let's scale things up with that in mind. Doing so would make Universe 7 over 1,500 times larger than our own observable universe.
And Goku could destroy that much the first time he went God. And he didn't lose that power. He learned how to use it even better, even in base form.
How's my audio?
And how much stronger he became when he stacked Super Saiyan on Super Saiyan God and became Super Saiyan Blue.
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Yeah, not saying that. Or after he trained with some almighty angels. Or when he perfected the blue hairdo and stacked Kaioken on top of that.
Goku has certainly performed great feats with God Ki, breaking through Hit's time stop by forcing himself into the future, holding off Infinite Zamasu, who was a sentient timeline, defeating Jiren, who shook the entire world of Void by just walking.
He even tried out Hakai, the destruction god move that nopes you out of existence. Your being and your soul erased from all of time and space.
Culminating in his greatest form, Ultra Instinct.
Chrome Goku isn't a normal transformation, it's a state of mind. Ultra Instinct is the highest peak of martial arts, subconsciously making optimal choices because you're in the zone, doing without thinking.
Something go.
versions of it for specific uses. It's extremely difficult to maintain the full form for long.
Until you get to Dragon Ball Heroes, aka Dragon Ball fanfiction gone Kaioken times 1,000.
While technically a different continuity, CC Goku is functionally a stand-in for the mainline Goku. His history and powers are the same, making his story just as much of a what-if scenario as the multiple super continuities. The only real difference is Toriyama's not really involved.
This Goku used instant transmission to teleport through time and dimensions. He outsped a god who could see the future. He defeated Dark King Fu, who was gonna rewrite the entire universe. Hell, this series even makes GT cool. Xeno Goku can break space-time just by going Super Saiyan 4.
Looking back at that goofy monkey boy chopping wood and punching dinosaurs, it's almost overwhelming to think about how far it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman.
Geez, just a locomotive? People in the 40s needed bigger imaginations.
Born on the far-off world of Krypton, the infant Kal-El was sent to Earth by his parents, narrowly escaping Krypton's destruction. Raised by farmers as Clark Kent, he eventually became Superman, champion of the oppressed, the man of tomorrow.
If you've only seen the movies, forget him. Comic book Clark's not the perfect Boy Scout. And he's definitely not Jesus. Wait, weren't the guys who made him Jewish?
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were sons of Jewish immigrants and grew up in a time when anti-Semitism went largely
Wait, he can do all that, but Batman can punch him out? Really?
You're probably thinking of Elseworld stories outside main canon like Dark Knight Returns. It's a good question though. Superman's powers have fluctuated over time for a variety of reasons. However, for Death Battle, we take the characters at their best.
Yeah, like how his breath is so powerful he can sneeze away a solar system or blow air cold enough to freeze ghosts.
Speaking of, his X-ray vision doesn't just see through walls. He can see through your own body and mind to examine your soul.
And yet, he can't see through lead. That's okay though, he can just burn through it with his face. Since he gets his power from the yellow sun, his heat vision burns with the fire of a star. And if beams aren't enough, he can blast it out of his whole body for a super flare. It used to totally drain him, but he's learned how to control it.
Simply put, Superman's powers defy physics. My favorite examples of this are when he rebuilt the reality warping miracle machine from memory, or punched Brainiac so hard every version of him felt it through all of time. Or
power when he gained 10 years worth of medical training through only 5 minutes of reading and then successfully performed lung surgery.
Nice. My favorite example is when he smelled brownies in North Dakota from orbit.
Even beyond his powers, Superman is no novice when it comes to the intricacies of battle.
He's trained in Kryptonian martial arts, which uses Chi, or as they call it, Shriyar. He even got summoned to Asgard to fight demons with Thor for 1,000 years.
What about now? Okay, interesting. Oh, okay, well, I guess you weren't hearing me just because I wasn't talking. I was only talking because I wasn't hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I just heard you just now.
Damn. So I've been talking all this time and I couldn't, like, people couldn't hear me?
Yes, that is correct. I was going to ask, so were you muted?
Holy. Oh my God, bro. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, a little bit. But I expected something like that to happen. This being the first time.
Yeah, first time.
I'll be
This is
honest,
weird
I'm
because
glad-
it's probably because it's a dual stream. Like the first time I did it, like I did not have this problem.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, at least we got it fixed. You know, there's that.
Yeah. Damn. Like half the video. So far, do you have like from what you've seen, like do you have any contention with it? Anything you want to add or say?
Attention, not a ton. I mean, I was mainly focused on trying to get the thing to work, so I wasn't paying super attention. But I mean, so far, I don't think they've said anything crazy wrong. I mean, I guess maybe how they scale the size of the universe. I always have weird feelings about, like, you know, universe size arguments. You know, they definitely come a far way from going like, oh, it's just 4 times as big. But I wouldn't say it's a super big issue. I'm not going to die on that hill.
Yeah, I agree.
I think my bigger thing kind of be, you know, once again, they kind of seem to be bouncing between variations. I mean, I know they're going with Capsule Corp, but, you know, we spent so much time focusing on the 2 different versions of Super, which I think most people would probably agree scale pretty differently. I mean, if it were me, I'd focus mostly on just the Super anime because that's the one, you know, that Heroes is based on. They always go anime versions of things. They never really use manga things, except I think there's like a single card of Super Saiyan Blue Goku that can use Hakai in Heroes, but I don't really think I've seen anything with Capsule Corp Goku using that. And they mentioned that, so I'm curious if they're gonna lean on the whole Goku has existence erasure, but, you know, Superman resisted the Omega Beam, so it doesn't matter. I imagine they're probably gonna go that route eventually, but
Yeah, I 100% agree. My whole problem with this, what I was saying, what I was muted, is that they don't seem to be like using Capsule Corp as like a standard. It's like they're using him as a possible mainline Goku could possibly do this and this.
You know what? I get exactly what you're saying. I think 'cause, yeah, they did say that they're like, oh yeah, he's basically like a what if for Goku, which I mean, in a way he is, but he's like, what if Goku was significantly stronger and also went through anime only like filler events from the Dragon Ball Z anime and like he's divorced from canon Goku to a certain point. That's like if I looked at Xeno Goku and was like, oh yeah, this is like a what if for GT. I mean, like, yeah, sure, technically,
Agreed.
But in practice, it's completely different.
And that's like my whole problem with this. Like when you look at it, they went on to what was it, Twitter or X, and he said like, oh, we're using like Dragon Ball Hero stuff, and I was skeptical about it because they didn't say Dragon Ball Heroes Goku or Capsule Core Goku is gonna be the one who's gonna fight mainline Superman. They said we're using him, which is like, are you really using him? I was expecting a Dragon Ball Heroes versus a mainline Superman, which would have been in my theory like a way different video.
Yeah, I definitely think that it was. I mean, and they've already done that for Trunks. Like when they did Xeno Trunks, they didn't do Future Trunks.
Was a horrible.
Oh yeah, that was a bad fight. I had planned initially to do a video on that, but I haven't done any of my rereading for the Sonic stuff, which is I wanted to do before I started making videos on it again. But that was that's on my list because the fact that he lost to Silver, but that's a whole other kind of topic. The point is though, at least in that video, despite the outcome, they still managed to make it about Xeno Trunks, which so far this hasn't really been about Capsule Core Goku. Maybe like you said, there might be more about toward the end of the actual discussion, but yeah, they did just spend that entire time talking about the Super anime, which again makes sense because that's the main version for most people. A little bit of manga stuff, and then at the end they're just like, oh yeah, Capsule Core. They're like, unless I missed it, they didn't even really talk about any of these specific feats. I mean, they did a little bit. They talked about stuff with Fu and stuff like that, but like I feel like they could have harped way more on the fact that, like, yeah, this guy's out here doing way different stuff. They also mentioned Xenoverse, which I don't know if you know, but I don't think it's ever really been clarified if that version really has any link to the hero stuff, other than the fact that like Mira, Toa, and Fu all appear in that kind of like Dragon Ball Online, like is Dragon Ball Online the same kind of time?
Exactly. That's another thing that needs to be debunked. Like the Heroes Goku, the Xeno Goku that appears in Heroes is a different Goku from the one who appears in Xenoverse games. It's like it's an alternate version of Xeno Goku.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, if anything, the thing they need to like that easily makes that true is that like the one that appears in those games, he's the same in both games, but he's also like a super variation, because in the first game he's a Z variation because GT isn't canon, so the main Goku they would use would be Z Goku. So he's like a post Battle of Gods Goku in that game. And in the sequel game, he's I think he's only up to like Resurrection F, because that's all. I mean, not Resurrection F, Goku Black Art, because that's all that had been animated up to the point when that story was made. And so he remembers the events of the previous game, but he's also still just a version of that. So like maybe you can make an argument he'd be like leading to Capsule Core Goku, but I don't think there's any evidence for that. So it's a weird thing to mention. I mean, I could agree that like he Capsule Core Goku would scale higher than him, but I wouldn't be just throwing out like, oh, he did this in this game without establishing an actual connection, because none really exists.
100%. I'm gonna keep going the video, so if you find anything on the Superman side, we'll pause and talk about it.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, no, I'm definitely curious to see what they say about him, since they made that X post about him.
Even Retcon and the Time Trapper, both of which hijack and alter timelines, can't touch him. Not because of his powerful mental defenses or healing factor, but because he's a cosmic linchpin in the greater metaverse.
So they're using the
literally
Dr. Manhattan
around him.
But let's address the S-shaped element in the room. You may have noticed we've covered a variety of Superman eras. Superman and DC Comics as a whole have gone through multiple retcons.
Golden Age, Silver Age, pre-crisis, post-crisis, New 52, Rebirth, and so on.
It would help to know which one is the main Superman, right? Well, they all are.
Yeah,
I knew this was gonna happen. Oh, talking about phasing, he actually still can phase because if I'm not mistaken, in like recent chapters, he phased into Lex Luthor's prison. So yeah,
Oh, you mean that like recent series where Lex has been in jail for a
helping
bit?
him, yeah.
Okay, I've been reading that, so I didn't know. I mean, I think it makes sense for him to be able to phase.
Because
I mean, even if
the
he's
way
not,
it's yeah,
even if he's not like flash fast, like he's definitely more than fast enough to phase. So I mean, I've always liked that being a part of his power set, and I actually think it's pretty good for him. You know, especially if you were to put him against someone who's technically stronger, because he's so fast and phasing his durability and negation. Like that's a pretty good
yes.
skill for him to have. I know some people fight on him having that, but even if he didn't show it, I'd always figure that'd be something he could do. Because I mean,
Yeah, because he actually has shown it like a few times in post crisis, but like in recent years, he's probably used it like once. And the only one I can remember is the new one where he actually like it's pretty much like shown that he goes through the wall. But I could be wrong. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I think that one recent example is more than enough. I mean, it's a recent thing. He's doing it. He did it in post crisis. You know, obviously, since this is Final Frontiers, they're going to mention the death metal, everything's canon thing. But even without that, I mean, the version we've been following from Rebirth is literally from pre-crisis. So
exactly.
it only makes sense that he'd still have that ability.
Dinosaur Superman the GOAT.
I didn't really read any of that, but that's some good panels I've seen.
Oh. That's an interesting one. They just said that he can freely travel to time, which I think is a little bit an exaggeration. Because she was shown.
I definitely would.
Yeah. Because she was shown to travel to time, but the canonicity of this story is a little bit. I think it's mainline, but I'm not quite sure because there's certain events that are like it's like they're retconning a lot of stuff. So I'm open to it because I love the fact that Superman's fast enough to like go back in time.
I kind of get you. And at the same time, I also do view the time vary as being a pretty high one. I think I'm only vaguely familiar with the story you're referring to, and I agree. It does have like a big canonicity to it. And I do also think about the last two examples I remember of him time traveling in the modern era. One was during Rebirth, where he had to use the cosmic treadmill to do so.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's not a super knock against him because typically that one does require just raw speed. It just helps you like maintain the vibrations, which you could put as a potential knock against him, but he'd still need the speed to operate. So that one's not actually that bad of a feat. The other one though was in death metal where he used that time band in order to continuously go back so he could be in more scenarios with just his raw speed alone. So if he could freely time travel, that device wouldn't be necessary. So I always do think Superman time travel has been a kind of a weird kind of angle for him, at least after the
it's
Silver.
At least not consistent.
Superman time travel like nobody's business. Like he was, of course.
Yeah,
it made sense though. That's like the version closest in speed to the Flash. So of course he had casual time traveling powers, and actually a lot of characters in that era did. Like even Green Lantern did time travel.
But given the fact that they're using a pseudo composite, because they're using the statement that everything's canon, so technically this quote unquote like Superman speak should technically be able to do it in their own words. Like I'm not saying like the actual canon dude. Superman.
That's true. Yeah. But going by their logic, which I do think is fair to do. Like I try to, at least when I make videos about stuff like this, I do try to take in like both what I take is the legitimate way to scale things, but also like internal consistency. Like that's a big problem with the original Death Battle, which I've been sitting on a script to debunk that for months, just because I think like upon reflection, there's a lot of weird things they did in that video, and internal consistency is another weird thing with it. Like, I'm sure you've seen the screen cap before, but they literally, like, for Goku's speed in that video, they like half his speed in Super Saiyan 2, so it's the same as his base speed, because if they did the multipliers they established in that video, he'd be way faster than Superman as Super Saiyan 4. So it's like, at least be consistent within your own logic. Like, even if I think you're wrong, I can respect, like, maintaining your own internal, narrative or whatever. So yeah, like you said, based on their own logic, if they're saying everything's canon, no matter the version, yeah, that should apply. So I guess I'll establish right now, I've always taken everything's canon to mean, everything from the mainstream version, of the metaverse. So, from starting from the golden up to, Final Frontier, that would be canon. It wouldn't include like one-offs like Kingdom Come or Injustice or anything like that. But like those are separate.
Because those are like other universes.
Yeah. Those aren't the Prime or Earth One or however you want to describe the main universe of DC that every change revolves around.
And that old baldy Lex teleported him to another galaxy.
See, this is
Superman
the one I was talking about. Well, not the Fiend, but the...
Has lost his
this is the one.
He really just said that.
Remember, Superman defies physics.
Like
Rainbow
when he
powers.
used heat vision to restart the universe by making an
not just
all-new
Superman.
Big Bang.
All
We've
characters
seen
defy
that his
physics,
universe
but
has a radius
let's
of at least
not gas
100
up
trillion
about
light
that.
years, but we can calculate a
That's
more
a weird
exact
thing to
figure.
kind of
The
hype up out
DC
of
universe
nowhere.
is 15 billion years old and expands at 60 trillion
here comes
light
the
years
super
per
math.
second. This means its radius must be over 50 non-million light years across.
None
This is something
31
interesting. Do you think we're going to end up giving him like infinite or immeasurable speed?
So here's my problem with this type of cogs. It's stated multiple times in DC lore that the universe is infinite. And the Daisenshu actually states that the Dragon Ball Z universe is also infinite. So technically, you should be using like higher like metas of speed for both of them. In this specific situation, when you're trying to get them at their best, at their peak.
Yeah,
well, I guess they're using cogs to make it a little bit more like easy to understand for normies and stuff like that, or people who like math, like to understand. Okay, he is
true.
specifically this fast.
They could be doing that, like you said. So
because normally you do that.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because for the Superman and not Superman, for the Flash and Sonic video, they do the same thing. Like they mention cogs and stuff. And they go as far as to imply, infinite speed for both characters, but they don't outright say it. So I wonder if they're just like afraid of like using that kind of scaling in their videos because it would,
let's see,
too far fetched for their casual audience.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit far fetched for the casual audience, but like power scalers are gonna be like, "Oh, you should have just said that."
Yeah, well, that's my main thing. Like, hopefully they don't mention
power. But if you want
not
something
because
bigger,
like
here's the Anti-Monitor blasting Golden Age Superman with all the energy
you're
of
going
the
to waste our
Antimatter
time
universe.
by mentioning
And then
cogs.
Superman,
like, they better matter. Like they better not just give me non-million speed for Superman and then go ahead and say he's infinite speed.
I never understood why would you use Superman's weaknesses. Goku's not going to use them.
Yeah. See, and that's something I actually have in my script about the debunking the original Death Battle. Because for Goku's weaknesses, they literally just mention the fact that he has stamina, basically. So it's like, why not just mention that he needs to eat, sleep, and breathe as well? Like, the weakness section's kind of dumb in general. Like, unless it like actually factors in, but like it never does. Especially in this fight. Like, neither of them have exploitable weaknesses, so there's no point even mentioning that they exist.
Oh, wait.
You know about that shook the Phantom Zone with a punch feat? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
What?
I said, do you know about that shook the Phantom Zone with a punch feat? I don't think I've ever heard of that one.
Okay, shook the Phantom Zone with a punch. Shook the Phantom Zone with a punch. I know he threatened to destroy the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, I know he threatened to destroy it in the Bendis run. Yeah, I know about that feat. But, Like, I never
And I
heard
know,
about
like
shaking him with a punch.
Doomsday's being able to rip apart the Phantom Zone, and he scales to that version of Doomsday because he ripped that Doomsday in half.
Yeah. New 52's and
Um,
Doomsday broke out of it. Yeah.
Shake the Phantom Zone with a punch. I'm not quite sure. I know what that one is. The Source Wall explosions. Yeah, they restored all timelines while fighting Jackson.
I think
That
that's a pre-crisis feat.
I think it is. Because I'm pretty sure they didn't put the there's a feat from him where he fights another version of him from another universe, and they destroy infinite timelines. Which I thought it was gonna be like a really cool feat they could use here, but I'm guessing they're not using much of a pre-crisis.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see toward the end. Because they always pull out extra scaling at the end to justify the result.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think about this, but of course they focus on the World Fortune feat. That was like the biggest Superman talking point in the last couple of years. They love showing this panel.
Which is funny because he has a lot of like OP like feats. Nobody. Oh, come on, bro.
Yeah, I'm just gonna establish this right now. I pay for premium, so I'm not used to seeing ads. Like, this is weird for me. We've had like 3 since we started.
I'm gonna start paying for premium, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I use it all the time. I don't watch TV, so YouTube's all I ever consume. So it just made sense for me. And I also listen to music when I work, so it helps to not have ads there. It just annoys me. It's hefty though. It's like $14 or whatever, but I use it enough that I think it's worth it. Oh, here comes another Better Health ad.
Yeah.
Weren't they revealed to be a scam like 6 years ago?
Not quite sure.
I think they were. At least I recall. Maybe I'm wrong. I might look into it again.
Aaron,
If
get
they are,
matched.
it's hilarious. They're still supporting like a scam.
Here you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm
That
good.
time. Probably should have like skipped.
Oh yeah, I always skip that. Of course.
Let's see what they got. Looks good.
Yeah, my friend told me he had godly animation. Okay. Fighter's model. That makes sense.
Okay, it looks really fluid. I like it. Oh, that was clean.
Straight to blue. Okay.
Oh, 1 inch punch. That's a cool detail.
Yeah. Nice Resurrect Grenade reference. Cool.
Oh shit.
Oh, they just
was
referenced.
GD was fighting on blue Superman. Oh shit.
Yeah. They're going with the crap. What was that? What was that fight? Infinite Crisis. Yeah, Infinite Crisis when he was fighting Earth 2 Superman. They did the same thing.
Okay, that's like a mix between New 52 and current. Because he has the Andes. Okay, that was lit.
That's pretty good.
I got a feeling this is gonna be a 3-0. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's over.
Okay.
It's over. Not gonna lie, that's really crispy. That's great animation.
Yeah, that was interesting, but
No, bro, this
I
is
bet they're
probably
gonna
the
go
best
like,
animated one they've done.
oh yeah, they better have saved some budget for the finale. Missed opportunity to not also use Superman Susano. Because he got one with those white star powers.
Uh,
Oh, Goku
3-0.
loses again. Shocking. I'm so surprised. Not.
not really. Let's hear the reasoning. The fact that they did this, they're doing it to trigger fans. Let's go again.
That's it! The final, indisputable answer! Who am I kidding? People are going to argue this one
At least
forever.
it's not as bad as
so
Goku
many
versus
ways this
Mitsu.
battle could
Oh,
go,
no,
especially
that
with
was
all the
just
other
not
continuities.
Yeah, for real. Goku would kick almost every other Superman's ass, except for the main one.
There's a lot to cover, so let's address the 5 categories most representative of this fight.
First up, strength. Both could hit hard enough to break or make their whole universe, or take it in stride, like when Superman got smacked by the whole antimatter universe.
At most,
Which is
Dragon
not
Ball's
really the
universe
universe.
is 1,505 times larger than our own. But based on the DC Universe's officially established age and rate of expansion,
I knew they were
it
gonna
is
use this type of
1.6
math.
vigintillion times larger. Over a
Yep.
novemdecillion times more than Goku's.
At some point,
They
it
did
reached
like
a
the
number
same
high
thing
enough
with
that it just
the
doesn't mean
Flash
anything
episode.
anymore. Anyway,
We expected.
Goku's obviously gotten stronger since the Beerus fight, even by billions or trillions of times. He's defeated Jiren, Broly, Moro, and Fu.
But even
They
if
don't
we
mention
highball
gas.
Goku by quadrillions or
granola.
quintillions of times, the gap is just
Or
too
any
much,
of, like, the-
especially with the World Forger feat. Not even
Yeah, they're
Heroes.
not using like anything
Superman
from Heroes
takes the edge
aside
in
from food.
strength.
But strength isn't everything.
No,
Let's
they're
talk
not.
speed. Both are obviously
Maybe
way
they both put
faster than
speed
light.
Oh,
But
here go the
Superman crossed that mega-sized universe of his in seconds and flew faster than infinity.
Makes sense. He can keep up with the Flash.
Okay, so they used
Casual-
the
casual
It's
Flash.
unquantifiable.
Don't count Goku out, though.
Yeah,
Flying
they
across
used
the
one of my
entire
favorite
afterlife
feats,
in
the
base
Crisis
form and
Mannequin
outspeeding
speed, because
Eos'
it's like
future sight
the most
takes some
blatant
crazy
speed.
speed.
Fighting
the characters
Zamasu
out.
as an omnipresent
Literally
Earth
shows him
timeline
breathing.
also implies immeasurable speeds.
He's going to
That,
heaven.
combined
Spectre's
with
like, hey, bro,
instant
you gotta stop.
transmission and ultra instinct, could probably keep up.
Maybe. Quantifiably, Superman is to
They
say
used
they
immeasurable.
high in speed.
Especially when we look at skill. Goku's a martial arts master.
I mean,
He's
by their own words,
definitely
though, they
got-
scaled Goku to time traveling against it earlier. So, by, if they're keeping things consistent, he should also be in that same tier.
Oh, that's all.
Also, I'm pretty
That's
sure he has-
disingenuous as well.
Yeah, that was cutting out for me. What they say?
Okay. I do agree. Goku's it should be a better hand-to-hand fighter. Like,
Yeah. Even if you say I mean, I always think skill scaling is kind of weird, but what do you call it? Like Goku at least actively uses martial arts all the time. Even though Superman knows a bunch, he doesn't really use them very much. And that could come down to like the artist, but I think it's relevant.
Yeah, like you said.
Oh, yeah, I do it.
Which do the same thing as Hakai.
Superman can.
They should have at least also mentioned the fact that Goku can't use the Hakai without expending all of his energy in Super Saiyan Blue. I think that's a relevant part of that ability no one ever brings up. I do think he could probably use it.
He can't just warp to
Ultra
any
Instinct,
red
since
star.
he should have
Even if he did,
hypothetically
Superman could
much more
simply
heat.
fly away and find a blue or white star for a supercharge.
And Goku could not pull off the same trick twice, as Superman could phase through his attacks.
Oh, so they're
So,
considering
that's it
like
then.
not
Clark
even
has
void,
too many
they're fighting
counters,
in a
so he takes
universe
the
where
engine
Superman
powers
can just
and it's
leave
over.
and then
Well, I think there's
Charge
something
up.
else. Goku versus Superman breaches a broader
Here comes the
zeitgeist. It's more than
BS
just two
philosophy.
characters fighting. For a whole
Oh, yeah,
generation,
yeah.
especially in 90s America,
That's
superheroes
that's
represent
it's
exactly
an
why
East
unequal
versus
status
West.
quo.
Too.
Spider-Man, Batman, Captain
Philosophize at
America
the end, like,
rarely
bro,
keep
we
to
never
who
just
they are
like
or what they believe in.
Superman.
For a
That's
lot of
stupid.
people, that's tiring,
I
and
hate that
Superman
video so
is an
much.
icon of that. Then
Powers
along
came
anime,
clearly
there was a
from
whole
Dragon
other
Ball, bro.
world of ideas and
It's a
stories
fact.
for us sheltered
We
Westerners
fell
to
in love
experience,
with big
and
dudes
Goku's an
fighting each
icon
other.
of that. So while many see this as a debate between characters, others see it as a debate of ideologies. and culture.
Ideologies.
And
Come
if
on,
that's
bro.
what's at
Come
stake,
on.
who wants Goku to
oh,
lose?
they're going the East
You're
versus
sure
West
you're
thing
not
again.
overthinking this?
It's not our
Come on,
intent,
Vince,
but
slap
it does
him.
call into question what we're doing. How can people agree with what we take as fact when fiction relies on interpretation? Are we stripping characters of
Are
their
they
importance
saying
by
they're wrong?
simplifying them to contestants in a vacuum
Maybe,
of
I guess.
violence?
I think
And if
it
so,
sounds like
then
they're
what's
opening
the
themselves up to
point?
the whole power scaling
Because
being
it's
subjective.
fun,
kind of
Wiz.
way
Damn it,
that's
man.
been
There's more
popular
than
recently.
one way to appreciate something. We're having a
'Cause
great
it's
time
fun.
I guess
talking
to be
about
fair, I don't
awesome
necessarily
characters and
disagree.
slamming action
That's
figures
why I
together.
kind of like the whole like metas thing that's going around. It's like I think it's kind of an acceptable way to do it. You can interpret different metas. I do think there's like a minimum baseline you can't disagree with. Like people who still don't think Dragon Ball is planetary are just delusional. But going between like finite and infinite speeds for like the mainline version, like I think that's pretty acceptable.
Agreed. I already saw who the next fighters are gonna be, and I'm like,
I've heard Unicron versus Galactus. So I guess we'll see.
Galactus.
Yep, it is.
I mean, oh man, it's not hype enough.
No, that's what I said. My friend's a huge Transformers fan, so he's excited for it. But I told him like they should have just made this the finale, but maybe they didn't because it's just the same result as the other two times. So like it'd be a weird finale.
So anything else you want to add to the finale to the end? Overall, I think like the animation was
I don't know.
amazing.
In a way, there's kind of nothing to say because it played out exactly the way I expected. The only thing that they didn't do that I expected them to do was try to throw in true Ultra Instinct. They didn't do that. So in that sense, they kind of kept it Capsule Corp since he can he's only able to use Ultra Instinct at this time because again, Heroes is based on the anime and True Ultra Instinct has not been animated yet, but
that's the crazy thing. Like in Heroes, he has mastered like the omen, the sign. He did train with the Grand Supreme.
Yeah, he trained with Grand Priest. Yeah,
no, the Grand Priest. Sorry, the Grand Priest. So that's what I was thinking about. Like, wait. I was a little bit disappointed because they didn't use Dragon Ball Heroes. They used it like we talked. It was more of a reference.
Yeah. They didn't mention any specific abilities, and kind of getting into the speed thing. Like I said, I'm kind of very bothered by the speed because for both the characters, the way they're scaling, they might as well just give them both infinite or immeasurable speed. And I know there's been some recent kind of debunks toward higher hero scaling, but I think the fact that they affect time and can kind of move, through it. I don't think that's really been debunked too hard. I'd have to reread the manga, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that line about a Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Xeno Goku, that is like not transforming because he'd affect time. Like I think that that's still relevant. Like using Heroes Goku, they definitely should have given him better speed, especially if they're gonna say, go with the anime line that he was time traveling against Hit. Like that's just blatant. That's blatant immeasurable right there. Like
Yeah, I agree. It would have been an entirely different fight if they actually like used any of the versions of Heroes or like Xenoverse, because those guys like they make the mainland Goku seem weak as hell.
it's true. They just take things to a higher level, and most of the time they are dealing with the creation and destruction of multiple timelines, and then I don't know. They didn't even like bring up or like maybe they did during the part where I couldn't hear the video, but like did they try to debunk any of the infinite timeline like destruction things? Because like wasn't did they even mention like Demigra was going to destroy every single timeline, and then including like the quote unquote real world of Heroes, like
Indeed. And Demigra, I think Demigra was it Demigra that it nearly affected like the quote unquote real world.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it was Demigra. Like
Or that's
one
like
of his higher
really
forms.
up there.
And yeah, and then he gets beat up by Xeno Goku. Like,
But
and
Xenogoku
I think
in
there's
base.
there's ways to not make that super outlandish. If you just say like, well, there are some like I don't know if they're theories or if it's been established in the series that like the real world is just a far flung future of a mainstream timeline, and when he uses the machine, he's actually like time traveling or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know too much about Heroes in that sense to get into that. But even forgetting the affecting the real world thing, like I'm pretty sure it's established in the Heroes that they're infinite.
And
timelines.
there's
So
like
if
multiple
Demigra
ways
was going
to
to destroy them all, then it's a massive upgrade to Goku compared to them saying like, oh well, he can destroy his like 1,500 times larger universe millions of times over. Like completely different ball games.
yeah. And
Yeah, I do think they did him dirty because like if there's any version of Goku you're gonna say like beats Superman, like it would be this one. And
yeah, agreed.
the scaling for him was rather tame, like
Yeah.
compared to what they could have done.
And they barely used like barely like really outlandish feats for Superman either, aside from like the World Forger one, because he has like better feats than that. But it's like,
Yeah.
it goes to my like I have a theory that like, Superman's strength actually comes from his meta narrative, not like the whole quote unquote like story of Superman or
Sorry, Superman. Yeah.
being used. No, it's more so like he is the literal like embodiment of hope, and it's been established like many times, which is why he sometimes is stronger than he should be. You get me?
Yeah, I can pick up what you're laying down. It's kind of like a strength to kind of explain his aspect. Because I mean, in general, the fact that he takes in sunlight and becomes as strong as he is, strong enough to at minimum destroy like sources and stuff many times over. Of course, I think he's a lot stronger than that. But I'm just trying to lowball for the sake of simplicity because like the amount of energy he has is not equal to the input that he's receiving. Things like the fact that he represents hope, the fact that the metaverse in a sense technically revolves around him, like those are all pretty relevant things, I would say. I will say I appreciate to a small degree that this version of the video is not as mean spirited as I think 2 was. Like I said, I think that one's the worst because they don't even do an analysis in that video.
Oh no, 2 was horrible. I hated it.
They just throw them against each other and then go, well, Superman would always win, so like it's irrelevant. Like what a stupid video.
Because the first one had like it was like they were starting like literally starting their channel, and you can understand like their their errors
Yeah.
and their
Yeah,
like
you
low
can forgive
scaling.
the weirdness and like the strange choices and even like the bad practice. Like I said, even though I'm making that debunk, on it. That I actually already recorded. I meant to finish it before we streamed today, but I got busy. That notwithstanding, like even though I'm making that to kind of take a crap on how they used to be, I do think they've come a significantly long way since then. Like this is a night and day comparison. Even though this is not what we would have liked to see out of them, this is infinitely
Agreed.
better than the one 10 years ago. Like by far, it's not even close.
So would you say that for a dead battle video, it was what would you rate it 1 to 10?
Say the last part again.
For a dead battle video, what would you rate it from 1 to 10?
1 to 10. I mean, for
I
a
give it
death
a-
metal video, I do think it's kind of different than like a regular.
If I'm
kinda
using
rating.
like
I think I'd probably give it like a 7. Like the visuals are good. The jokes weren't that annoying or really bad. The editing was superb. The animation for the fight
Agreed.
was pretty good.
agreed
The
100%.
fight didn't have a lot of weird kind of wasted moments like they do in the other fights. Where like, they say the fight doesn't matter, it's just for fun, which is cool. But I still prefer the fight to be decently accurate to how they want to scale the characters. I think this one was. The scaling itself, I don't think it was super bad. It being bad isn't really the problem. It's the things they didn't include that make it bad.
Well, I think this is it. At least we had like two people here. No, we actually had
Yeah.
4. We actually had 4. So it's
Oh yeah,
it's a starting point. It's a starting point.
that's true. I mean, like I said, we could have ended some time where people show up, but I mean, it's not a super big deal. I throw it up on my my Instagram. They try to throw somewhere in there, but it's cool. I mean, I got time. I mean, if you want to maybe go through it again, I wouldn't mind. Now that we can both actually talk,
Oh,
because I do think people missed out on your initial thoughts because for the first like 5 or 10 minutes, you were silent and I was silent because I wasn't hearing you.
oh, I'm down to do it. Just not at the moment because I gotta like go do some stuff.
Oh, yeah,
Like
yeah.
hit me up anytime you want. We can like do a lot of different
Yeah, different topic, yeah, and I can also build more hype
And, like,
for it that way.
yeah, we can promote it a little bit more
advertise
because
it. Things
that was
like
probably
Yeah,
like
no.
the thing. Like I needed to promote it a little bit more, advertise it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that's fine though. Yeah, I'm cool with the end it there, and like I said, I wouldn't even mind just revisiting this. I do think it's kind of worthwhile, but
I'm
I
down
don't
to
know,
do
maybe,
like a few dead battles and like because I was thinking about doing a video about not necessarily a debunk, but like debunking their own logic. Like because I've seen videos where people talk about based on their logic, this shouldn't have happened and stuff like that. I got a few ideas because I got a few.
What you're talking about, the ones where like they say like the video that's like 10 death battles that are wrong by death battles and logic like that one.
Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah. Those exist because you can watch it. Like I said, with the same Goku versus Superman 1 example where they half Goku's speed. That one's ridiculous, and there are more examples like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that could definitely be interesting. I think death battle's a topic worth kind of watching. So we could even watch another one that we kind of know. Maybe next time we can do like either a Hulk versus Broly or Vegeta versus Thor, since those are two incongruent videos on their channel that came
They're
out
linked, and those are 2 videos that, by their own logic, one of them has to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they correctly, I was afraid they weren't going to do it, but they correctly scaled Vegeta over Broly from the Moro arc in the not Moro arc, in the Granola arc in that video. But then he beats the guy who's constantly portrayed as equal to Hulk.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird world they live in. And I know that there are different research teams. Like, I know there's that one understudied researcher that reaches out to people who make videos about Death Battle, or at least that seems to be what he does. He reached out to me when I debunked Sonic versus Flash, and he reached out to Broku when he did his video about Asta versus who was it?
Deku.
Deku, yeah, Deku. I was gonna say like that.
That was gonna be a stump, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about either of those series either. Hopefully.
But okay, so Taf, well, we'll be in touch. I'm gonna let you know, and you let me know if you want to do anything about Dragon Ball related or videos or stuff like that, reactions or whatever.
You got it. We definitely got to do more.
Everybody who's watching, thank you for following, for staying tuned with us until this moment. Hope you enjoyed our content, and I apologize for not talking in the earlier parts of the video. I hope
we hope you can forgive the weirdness of this being our first time, but we promise the next one will be a hell of a lot smoother as a result.
Next time will be a lot better because we'll know how to use everything. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
I hope everybody has a great night and peace out.
Yeah, you guys take it easy. Excelsior.